Hello, my name's Friday and I'll be your tutor on TM129. We usually call this presentation the 17J presentation, so that's how I'm probably going to refer to it in the future. I wanted to make this video so that you can see that there's a human being on the other end and that I'm right here. I'm ready to take your questions, and you can do things like text and phone me from time to time. So the only time I'm really out of contact is if I'm in another piece of work, or Thursday nights I tend to run a game, so I tend not to talk to anyone then. But apart from that, feel free to get in touch. I'm going to try and use the forums and email and text messaging as much as I can this year, and make sure that I'm fully engaged with you. So you've had some other contacts from the SSTs, the student support teams and stuff. So this is really supplementary, but I wanted to show you around the website. So the websites have been revised this year. If you've done another course like TU100, you might have seen the websites in a different format. So the new format's actually quite good. It's very clear. So we're looking at the current weeks, which is since we've not quite started yet, as just the welcome. Now, some of you have been in the early bird cafe, and there are things going on there. I haven't looked over all of that, but mostly what you need to be concerned about now is if you complete TMA 00. Now that is due soon. It's not marked. A lot of people worry about it, and we tend to have it so that we can see that you can submit things, and people get on with zipping. Let me just show you. I tend to use 7-zip, but there's often some confusion. Let me show you what I do with it. So I've got a few files here to do with the Open University, including tutorial dates and such. So I have 7-zip installed. Some people install WinZip, they install Unrar, things like this. But if I select a couple of files here and go right-click and go to my 7-zip. Now 7-zip has its own format, but one of the things that I don't want, we don't want, is things in a peculiar format. Every year, one of the things that happens is people send me .rar files or multiply zipped files or something that is not really a very useful format. So really, we want to do the simplest thing, and actually, if I go down here and go add to 2017-2018, that happens to be the name of the folder, so that's fine. So I'm zipping up some files in a particular folder. You'll have a folder structure for your TMAs if you're wise. TMA1, TMA2, TMA3. And I choose to zip those, then the zip file just appears. You can see it here, and if that was a TMA, I'd just send it off. So that's a simple zip. We can look in the structure of it, and it looks exactly like this. That's the sort of thing I want. It makes it very easy and simple, and the only reason I'm really showing you is that you'd be just very surprised by the amount of things that we get. Multiply zipped, multiply compressed, and we have a handler for the TMAs which doesn't deal with those very well, and neither would we want it to, because we don't want it to go through multiple processes. So the website itself is very nice and easy now. It's laid out quite well. In terms of design, I do website design, so the actual theory of website design, so it's quite well spaced. What's nice is that you can tick off what you've done when you've done it. So here's where you can track what you're doing. The website's actually quite reliable, so you don't have to worry too much. And it takes you off to the links for what you need and where you're going, including the Robot Lab installer and sample programs. You've got everything right here in front of you. You've also got some useful things for a little way down the road that you may or may not have yet. So if you have James May's Big Ideas Man Machine, here's the whole transcript, and that will open in Adobe Reader, hopefully. You may have other readers like Sumatra, etc. And all the resources are just there for you, so that's quite good. Sometimes the old website was a little more confusing. We can go and have a look at the all weeks. If I expand all and collapse all, so you can see the upcoming year pretty much right through to the end of June. We used to have to wait for some of this material. I think it's all there now. So and including, you can easily see when an EMA, TMA is due. In fact, if I run up again and we expand all, and if we scroll down slowly, we can see that the first TMA due is the 7th of December. And it's a fair week off because that covers most of basically Unit 1, the robotics. You're given an assessment week, so that's week 9, 2nd to the 8th of December, basically, but the cut-off is on the 7th, and you should get the marking back by the 22nd. So the marking works like this. I have basically 10 working days, so effectively 2 weeks to do the marking. That means that if I am doing more than one module, if I'm doing 2 or 3 modules, then if I get all the marking all at once, it gives me a chance to do it. But that should come back by then. Then you have basically a 2-week break, 23rd of December to the 5th of January, and then you start again. Now, what will feel rapid to you at that point, after a long slide into the first TMA, what will feel rapid to you is that there will be another TMA which is due in February. So try not to worry about that too much, but it increases the pace, so you've got to bear this in mind, and make sure that you get the TMA dates down in your diary now, because we kind of expect that you know when those TMA dates are due, and so we try not to. There are provisions for extensions and things. We try not to provide those if people are just going on holiday, because you should kind of know, but sometimes there are other things that happen in busy lives, unforeseen circumstances, so things like that. If you get any of those, just write to me. So my email address will appear on a slide at the end of this, and then we can see those circumstances. So I want to have a look. So these are some of the things that I'm covering. If I just draw this in, and this is a quick list of, I don't want to give you this as a document, but basically there's a lot going on here in terms of the first tutorial is online on the 10th. The first one that I give is on the 25th of October, and you should have a whole list of those from the SSTs or be able to look them up. So if you're looking for where to go for tutorials, we go here. Most of the tutorials are going to be in the group room. There are 3 rooms here, and if I open up, but I'm going to open up our actual module tutorial room, but most of them are going to be in this room. This is the online tutor group room. most of them are going to be in the online tutorial room, but I'm going to open this one, the online tutor group room, which is just us, our particular group of about 19 students. So this is a new thing for us, and we've had extensive training. I've done it all. In an effort to gamify training, Adobe actually give you a badge at the end. Hurrah for me! But I've actually done it because I looked quite deeply into it. So you go and join the room. If you're using Firefox, you might get Firefox saying, well, you need to activate this plugin. I activate the plugin. If you find that Firefox kind of kicks off and won't let you open it, do go and open it in Internet Explorer. It will work quite smoothly through there, but I've got it working in Firefox now. I think I had some particular problems because I tend to run the cutting edge version of Firefox, so I can have some dips and troughs on the way. But basically, we'll be in this environment for teaching. It allows you to chat. I can see who's coming and going. I can run my webcam. I'm already running it. And I can share various things. So all I have to do is share my screen, and I can choose one of the many things I've got open on my screen, and have a look. So I won't do much of that. What you will find, as I say, this new thing for us. It's an improvement on the old thing, and it changes quite a lot. So we can have kind of face-to-face discussions on here. It's very good at controlling your bandwidth, and we can talk to each other. We can have text chat. We can make discussion notes. I can run polls and things. I can make more and more of these layouts, so I can lay things out the way that I see fit for us. It will change. I come online, say, I usually run tutorials on an evening online, and I come on maybe half an hour before, so that if you want to come early, you can come, check out your webcam, check out your microphone, check everything out, make sure it's all working. If you have any problems getting online, then I can help with that. And generally we can be face to face. Now, a lot of these tutorials are online now. It means you don't have to travel. It's very convenient. Not having to travel to a tutorial perhaps on a Saturday when you can't make it. People are working. Sometimes you want some family time, things like that. So this is very convenient. All you have to do is sit down at the computer. We can get face to face. You don't have to have your webcam going. I generally will or won't, depending on how I feel I'm looking. And you can have all the convenience of a tutorial without having to dodge around. I do like my face-to-face tutorials, but this is very convenient. So if you have problems, I know that there are going to be some sessions for students going right around this environment, but you can do things like have some emoticons which say, am I waffling on too much, which I tend to do. Do you want to ask a question but you don't want to disturb the flow? Things like this. It's there are lots of facilities here. So that's enough of that for now, because I haven't got any content here, so we don't have to do any more of that. So basically, having had a look at the new website layout, we can see that it's easy to navigate. Just go along effectively the tabs at the top. You can go and look at some resources, accessibility guides, using references. I anticipate I'm going to be talking about this a lot. So go back and back and back to it. But actually, it's a referencing resource in itself. It's just a way of citing things, and you're going to need to learn to do that during the course. It's one of the things that comes up again and again, and I'm going to make another video which I will post on an easy way to do references without actually doing too much work, and there'll be more than one way of doing it. And actually, I don't want you to have to do too much work when referencing. I don't want it to become laborious. So referencing is closely associated with avoiding plagiarism, and we do that by saying things in our own word. That sounds like kindergarten stuff, but it's actually it's a skill that you have to acquire. It's very difficult. It's a very difficult skill, because it's all too easy to find that you're quoting something because what you want to say is sometimes what somebody else is saying. And this is my first real tip about studying, and about quoting people and having doing things. Really, and this is key. I've done a lot of study over time. When you're trying to make a point, and you're trying to make a point from other sources, make it from more than one other source. Because when you make it from more than one other source, you're going to have to use your own words, because you can't quote two people at the same time. You just can't do it. I mean, and suddenly it becomes easy. You go, well, this person's saying this and this person's saying that. They're saying almost the same thing. They're saying conceptually the same thing. How am I going to put that? And suddenly it makes it a lot less intimidating, and it makes it a lot less like they know better. So that's quite good. So it's less of a concern in TM129, because a lot of the work is very practical, so you're going to be reporting on what you do anyway, so that makes that easy. You're going to be doing some programming with Robot Lab. We're going to do some mathematics in networking. We're going to do some Linux command line in block 3, and you're going to find that by the time block 3 comes, you're going to be ready for that. If you've never done Linux, nowadays you're almost bound to have heard Linux if you have any interest in computing whatsoever. But there are some tips and tricks that happen in the Linux section that you can go, wow, I didn't know that. I usually learn something new every year, because I don't use Linux every day at the desktop. I use Linux almost exclusively for web stuff, so I have to work at the command line anyway, or work in PHP or Perl or Python or whatever. So you'll learn some stuff. It'll be good. So you'll see all my contact details. You can send me emails from the contact mechanisms that you have as students. You can phone me, you can text me. I will respond to those things. If you phone me or text me, if you end up leaving a message, particularly text and phone, please say who you are, say what course you're on, because I'm running more than one course, and just leave a brief message, even if it's just, can you get back to me? But those two things are pretty important to me, because otherwise sometimes people get on and they articulate their problems, but then I don't know who they are, and I try and avoid that. So that's good. So I've talked enough. Welcome to the course. Welcome to the Open University. Glad to have you on board. It's going to be good. I know that some of you are going to find it taxing sometimes, but we're right here to help you through those moments, and good luck.